Yo, 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 what's up, everybody, man? I want to welcome y'all to another live edition of the Fade Hour. Y'all know this voice by now. I've been drinking because that's what we do on the Fade Hour. I'm the golden voice. I want y'all to go ahead and do the same too. If you don't drink, go ahead and light up. And if you don't do either or, go ahead and subscribe and like and everything, man. But again, welcome to the Fade Hour. Tonight, we're definitely going to cover some shit. We're going to cover Andre, he had a fight Saturday night. He retained his title. Jamel Charlo, he went 12 rounds with Brandon Adams. And we're definitely going to talk about a possible upcoming Triple G fight and a possible, actually just talk about Canelo, how everybody want him, but they don't want each other. But like I said, we'll get to that momentarily. But I definitely want to step aside, let my fellas introduce themselves, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the first topic.
That sounded so nice and professional how it came on. What up, world? It's your boy News, representing Ringside Rave all day. Y'all know what it is to me, man. The crazy thing is, the way I'm coming through my headphones is like delayed, so it sounds like like I'm at like a, you know how them bidding people be when it be real slow and then it says it real fast, all that stuff. That's exactly what it sounds like to me now. That's crazy. Either way, y'all know what it is, man. I got the smoke with me. I got the drinks with me. Jose Tequila News in the building. Jose Quavo News, international news. And we about to turn up on a Monday. That's what I do. It is what it is, man. Fade hour every day. That's what we do. Fade hour on the hour.
Hey, and just like News got that smoke with them, your boy Smoke right here. I got that Panama Kush with me because I did take a flight to Panama, cop some Kush, and then came back just to talk some boxing. So let's get to it.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Pat Scorpion, the Northern representative, and I got my glass of Chardonnay with me. So I had to wash down this sushi that I just finished eating, and it was real good too. So yeah, let's get to it.
What it do, baby? It's your boy Pete. You already know. Rep from Ringside Rave, Bodega Boxing. And unfortunately, I'm at work, so I can't be a hooligan and drink as normal. But I always got the water on deck. Got to stay hydrated. Especially today, I've been extra hydrated because I've been thirsty all day because I've been too busy drinking these tears from these Knicks fans. I've been drinking that salt, getting me dehydrated. So I got me some water. Let's get into some boxing.
Bet, man. And I know, Pat, you said you had the Chardonnay.
Yes, sir.
He got that moon Chardonnay.
Let me ask you, man. Are you drinking the Chardonnay because the feedback that everybody's been giving about the Andre fight? You was in the building, man. So I guess just give us the vibe in the building, your impressions of the fight, and just everything involved in regards to that.
Man, the vibe was incredibly hype, man. Like it was building. You know what I'm saying? Like them dudes. Like every time that Andre showed up on the screen up top, motherfuckers lose their minds. Like woo! Because I mean, there was because Boo Boo was Cape Verde, so there was mad Cape Verdeans up in there. They played the music or whatever. Some of them were getting crunk or whatever. Saying the vibe was like live. I mean, it was live during the whole fight. It was deafening. Like I thought my eardrums were blue in the first round when Andre knocked Sulecki down. Like I didn't hear shit. All I heard was that's all I heard, man. It was just like wow. It was just like. But the vibe, though, I mean, it tempered a little bit, as the fight went on, but there was still there's still some enthusiasm or whatever, right to the bell. So, Providence, they love Demetrius Andrade, man. So, like I said, it was, it was a cool time over there, I dug the whole fight and whatnot, although I wish Andrade, put him away, but he listened to his father in his corner. His father's the one who told him to stop the wild shit and box the dude, and that's what he did instead of scoring like the knockout, which he could have. So that's my thoughts on the whole thing.
Have you been able to rewatch the broadcast of it and hear the commentating?
No, but I've heard some horrible things, especially with
from Smoke. More importantly, he had a lot to say about it.
Whatever it was, I said it.
Yeah. Now, I read people's comments like that. Mora was not on point. You know, and he was mispronouncing words or making up words, some shit like that. You know, I mean, and there was a whole bunch of smug shit going on. Two smug motherfuckers on the mic saying whatever they felt. And that's the shit that I was reading.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like the championship rounds, it was just more of a slander or a circle jerk. Whoever you root for. But yeah, that's what I was asking. But yeah, P, what are you? No, I actually smoke. I'm sorry, I actually just step in. But how'd you feel about the fight and everything in regards to Andre?
Well, so here's the thing. I saw the last 4 rounds of the fight on Saturday night or whatever. Then I rewatched the whole thing, and after seeing the first round and then seeing that everything changed so much, and that being in Andrade's approach, it's kind of like, okay, so he knocked the dude down in the first round, and he clearly was ahead. And when he was being aggressive, it was working, and so on and so forth. And then the next, 10.5 rounds, he just kind of, boxes to a safe decision. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like News said last week, you need an impressive performance. And so it really surprised me, especially after hearing what Pat said, and that his pops told him hey, yo, just chill. And that's all he did. So
you think his stock just stayed in neutral?
I would say it went up, but by 3% or some shit like that. I think he could have knocked out or TKO'd Sulecki, because Sulecki, I think, got dropped twice by Rosado after he had a tough fight with Daniel Jacobs. So naturally, Andrade, with his, skill set, angles, all that shit, but he just pulled off the gas. And then, in the last round, watching it and hearing people from, his own city boo, unless they were saying boo, boo. And I was actually being serious, because I don't know, but they were not very happy in the 12th round, and it was kind of just okay, this is what you want to show people. And yeah, he won. I mean, he won 12-0, 11-1 with a knockdown. But it's I hate to even say this, Triple G would have knocked Sulecki out in that situation.
P, your thoughts?
I mean, I didn't watch it live. I caught the rerun afterwards because I was watching the Charlo fight. But I mean, is it possible to be dominant and yet still underwhelming at the same time? Yes. Because that's kind of what I felt. I try not to say how can I try not to say on one hand I can't complain too much because he dominated him, so you can't ask for nothing more than to dominate your opponent. But I guess it's the most undominant, it's one of those dominant performances, because it was just he could have stopped him earlier, and he took his foot off the gas, and he showed he was skill levels above Sulecki, but didn't we already kind of know that heading into this fight? So
right,
ultimately it was a waste.
A workman win, like a workman win, right?
Yes, yeah. It's an undominant dominant win, if that makes any sense. Just a clunker, a snooze fest. But he showed his skill level, but we already knew that. So I'm kind of leaning on both ways, yay and nay.
You sound like you want to. I ask you this: you think his stock is what? How do you think his stock is?
It didn't do anything. It didn't really change. How could it have? I think most people that know Andrade's skill level, know that he's capable of dominating his opponent. So, and I don't think anybody really thought Sulecki was that much of a threat. So we kind of knew he was going to dominate. But I wanted him to dominate, and like a dominant performance is in outboxing him while beating him up and kind of just like making it entertaining. But it was kind of a clunker. So I really like Andrade, so I'm trying not to like shit on him, but he didn't do himself any favors.
Right. News.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, no, he wasn't impressive. I mean, well, he wasn't to me, who thinks highly of Andrade's skills. I feel like you have two choices in the fight. You either have a entertaining slugfest. Well, three choices. You either have an entertaining slugfest, which Andrade started off a little bit like, trying to get into that in like the first round or whatever. But then he went away from it. The second one you have is you just knock the guy flat out. Andrade doesn't possess that skill to do that. And then the third is you exert not only your boxing skill, but you use your boxing skill to dominate your opponent. And that's what he didn't do. It's a difference between outboxing your opponent and then using your outboxing to dominate your opponent. Not to bring anything up about Mikey Garcia, but Earl Spence dominated the Mikey Garcia. I wanted to see Demetrius Andrade dominate a Sulecki. He didn't do that.
Whooped that ass.
Like, he didn't do that. He didn't hit him enough time. He wasn't aggressive enough for anything. Everybody's going around with this Floyd blueprint, man, and I'm tired of it. Like, Floyd used to let his hands go. And even then, there's no way you should just be touching 30 but having the same type of punching output as a 39-year-old Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me. If you got the advantages of skill, then you should pick apart your opponent like Loma does. That's dominance to me. When you can outbox an opponent, you have to go out and be aggressive because it doesn't matter what your opponent does. You're going to outskill them anyway. And I didn't think Demetrius Andrade did that. I didn't think his stock rise. I think it went up like a half point. But after that fight, I still have him beneath Daniel Jacobs. I still have him and Jamal Charlo in the toss-up bracket. Like, I really don't know how good they are yet. I'd have to see them in another fight.
He still need a bigger fight before you would be interested in him seeing Canelo.
It's just about the fact that at the point that Canelo is now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right.
These guys, and we're probably gonna talk about it at the end. Yeah, I'm gonna wait to the end. I'm gonna wait to the end and say that. I'm gonna wait.
All right.
If I go in on Canelo with it.
All right, bet. And before we transition to the Charlo fight, I just wanted to I didn't mention in the opening segment, but was anybody able to catch the Comey and Beltran fight Friday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
Comey had the best performance of the entire weekend.
Yeah, pretty much, and it was a beating as we all thought it would be. Beltran, that motherfucker's teeth tough, man. I mean, he went down 4 times. Got his ass back up though. But that last time, the referee was like, nah, Brad, that's it for you. And the funny thing too is, Comey was like, his eye was swollen, one of his eyes was almost shut, and he was starting
to headbutt.
Right.
Yeah, the headbutt.
Can he catch Loma?
Yeah.
Nope. Too sloppy.
That's what I feel too. I feel that too.
Yeah, I honestly thought the tide was going to turn in the Comey Beltran fight because Comey in 2 occasions punched himself out. Like, he got undisciplined and too aggressive, and by the last minute of the round, he just like a minute and a half into the round, he's already getting tired and sloppy. So he pushed through and got the knockout. But even when he at times when he looked good, he still didn't look that good.
Right.
Right.
You just want to say something, Smoke?
Well, I'm gonna just say this. Comey has really good power, and he can kind of box. Loma is very close to being a master boxer combined with his movement. So until Loma fights Comey, I think Comey is just holding the belt for him. And
What news? What you call it?
I call them transporters. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the transporters, man.
I don't think he's gonna get the. I don't think Comey's gonna get the Loma fight. I think he might. I mean, he maybe. Who knows?
But so the thing is that the one thing is that Comey can fucking punch hard, right?
Right.
And that is the one thing that Loma hasn't seen at 135 yet. I don't think it will give him any type of difficulty or anything like that. But if they do fight, there's a minor outside chance.
Puncher's chance
On steroids. Because Comey can crack, but he can't do much more than that. But shout out to Ray Beltran for being able to take that type of ass whooping like multiple times. Since when did he fight Terrence Crawford? Like
2012 or 13. 2013 or 14, somewhere around there.
I think didn't he fight him after Gamboa or before Gamboa?
Some of my friends have kids that are about to go to college that weren't even in high school when that fight happened.
Bro, I had no kids when that fight happened.
Do your thing, homie.
Exactly. How you feel about it, Pat?
How I feel about what?
About Comey and Loma.
I mean, like I said, I would say I would think a puncher's chance. I mean, and of course, if he actually knocked out, I would laugh. I'd laugh a lot because it would be me.
Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
No, like I said, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, he might not make it because I mean, Comey's next fight is the winner between Lopez and the Japanese fighter he's facing next.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say honestly, instead of Comey fighting Loma, I'd rather see Comey fight Teofimo because I want to see where Teofimo is at.
It's about.
So, like, why don't we see what Teofimo does against live competition? Because the way I look at it is, Teofimo is calling out Loma like crazy. He keeps calling out his name. So the way I look at it is, if Lopez can't even get past Comey, then we shouldn't even be talking about Loma and Lopez. So he should have to fight Comey first before he fights Loma. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather see that happen because if Comey fights Loma, Loma's gonna win, and then we're gonna see what? Then we see Teofimo go straight to Lomachenko without really having a prior gauge to what Teofimo can or can't do. You know what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't go straight to fucking Tyson and punch out. You gotta go through Glass Joe. You gotta go through all the goonies before you get
Super Macho Man.
Yeah, you gotta get to
Mike Tyson. I don't got all day.
Got the code.
Listen, man, Richard Kame, whatever.
Con artist.
He ain't nothing but the next highlight reel for Loma's Matrix mixtape.
That's what I see.
That's his weakness. We talking about Mike Tyson's punch out. Who was that guy that floated around the ring on Mike Tyson's punch out? The three landed punches.
The Indian dude with the turban.
That's what Loma's gonna look like versus Richard Kame. Kame has no footwork, no body work, sloppy. Yeah, he has one punch. He's not gonna be able to do nothing with Loma. He's gonna look worse than Nicholas Walters. I guarantee that.
Oh damn!
I guarantee that. That's
quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll make Richard Kame quit. Richard Kame is he's a horrible fighter to me. We just seen the fight. We're skipping out the part that Beltran actually came back in these fights. Yeah, you knocked him down 4 times, but every time Beltran was back up in your face. every time.
What happened with him at Easter? I forget.
He took the L, and then he got a knockdown that made the fight seem closer than it was when he didn't even knock Easter down.
Shit, I thought
That was
and the dude lost to Sheffico.
I mean, some people thought Coleman won that fight.
I felt Coleman won.
Yeah, because you gave him the knockdown. Take the knockdown off. He didn't score a knockdown. There's
that
no
was
way
a great
possible
fight.
You could have a 115 for Kame.
That was a great fight.
Kame, listen, man. Kame's on. I don't even. Me even talking about Kame.
You sound like you about to give him the Ndongo treatment.
No, Loma's about to give him that Walters treatment. They all the same. Like
I wouldn't go that far. It's kind of disrespectful, but it is what it is.
How's it disrespectful? Did you not see the fight? He didn't do nothing to bell train but knock him down. That's it. He did knock him down, but other than that, what did he do? Did he land any jabs? Did he land any body shots?
Come on.
He didn't do anything.
Bruh, do they in a boxer like that? He's a puncher.
Right, but he's fighting Lomachenko. He's not fighting Robert Easter. He's fighting a master boxer who completely embarrassed everybody he's fought.
Except who?
Orlando.
Richard Kame versus
Oh, God, don't even bring that. Don't do it. Don't do it, God, I swear.
The one thing that
it is what it is, man. That's a highlight reel waiting to happen. He might as well just give it the belt, Andre the Giant style. Remember Andre the Giant? We don't need to see that fight. Just hand it over backstage.
Got it. Say what you got to say on Smoke, and then we're going to go ahead and transition to Charlo.
I mean, all that I wanted to say was that, Coleman has that puncher's chance, and it would be dope to see him and Loma fight. I think Loma's fighting like Luke Campbell or some shit next, but
Uncle Luke.
Yeah, but all that being said, Coleman had the best performance of the weekend, and Charlo, who had the easiest route to a good performance, and then second up by Andrade, should be like, what the fuck at themselves for letting Coleman have the best performance.
Right, and speaking of, like I said, let's go ahead and get into Charlo, man.
Let's speak on it.
Hold on, yeah, he had his fight. He actually went the distance, to my surprise. Caveat: he did mention something about his hand. I think he said it's the second round or maybe the fourth or fifth, where he had an issue with it, to where it gave him a lot of grief, as we saw post fight. But still, despite that, still thoughts on the fight, everybody. Like, do y'all think he impressed, knowing what happened with his hand?
No.
Did Adams impress you guys more than expected? Like, just your general thoughts on the fight.
Adams was a lot tougher. I didn't think he would be able to take Charlo's shots, but he was taking them uppercuts without backing up. He obviously he backs up away a little bit, but he was like the punches he got hit with, like it didn't like really affect him. It didn't really slow him down or nothing like that. Like he was in, he was in Charlo's chest, and I don't know what the fuck Charlo was doing, but he was missing so many punches in this fight. Like you can see the struggle in his face. Like I think he was fit for the ring. Because he didn't know what to do with this motherfucker. But basically he won the fight just on activity, but he didn't look good at all. It wasn't as type of performance like everyone. I thought he would put him away. This guy Adams got washed by Willie Monroe, like worse.
But what was the biggest?
Wait. Adams got washed by Willie Monroe?
Yeah. Yeah.
I am speechless for a moment.
But yeah, go ahead and speak up now about the fight.
Nah, so that's crazy because Charlo, granted he's taller and has longer reach, which should give him all the advantages in the fight. But it is harder to fight a shorter fighter. But the thing is, Charlo, whether he broke his left hand or not, he hit Adams with a couple flush uppercuts, and Adams wasn't even fazed by it. So to me, Big Charlo's power hasn't moved up from 154, and that really presents more of a difficulty than anything else. when talking about against the top fighters. So I didn't think that Charlo looked that impressive. I didn't think Adams looked good either, to be honest with you. He looked like he could avoid getting hit in the face like over and over and over and over and over again, but not like multiple times. So I don't know how good that makes him. He would be like maybe like 12 out of 15 at 160 right now. And Charlo, coming off the Korobov fight, needed to look impressive because he did not look impressive at all against Korobov. In fact, he looked bad. And so to see him give that, like, you know, good at some parts but shitty at other parts performance, it was just kind of like, eh. To be honest with you, I turned off the last 3 rounds.
Damn.
Well,
Damn.
I mean, Maul, I mean, are you going to watch something that is going to just put you to sleep?
I mean, I'm a Jags fan.
Or are you gonna switch to the other fight and hope that Andrade isn't putting you to sleep?
That's true.
It's a tale of two cities, dog.
Shoot, the news. How you felt about it, my boy?
Charlo whooped his ass, but it wasn't impressive again. I mean, it was a one-sided fight. Brandon Adams didn't win. It was a competitive fight. But my problem with it is the same thing I had with Demetrius Andrade. I mean, if you're supposed to be an elite middleweight, you're calling out the franchise, but yet you're out here having competitive fights with Brandon Adams. You know what Canelo do to Brandon Adams level opponents. Like, he has a resume full of what he does to them. He won like 45 fights versus them level opponents. So, and he destroyed them. You're out here, I can see, okay, I hurt my left hand, but it don't matter. Like Smoke said, you were landed with multiple right-handed uppercuts. I was going to call that boy Ken or Ryu after the fight. The way he was landing the uppercuts. You know what I mean? But it didn't work. The uppercut didn't work. You did get the W, easy win for you, but it wasn't impressive enough to where I felt that you can put yourself on the pedestal to act like me and Canelo, we're on the same plane, so we need to fight to see who really better. Because that's basically what it all boils down to me. I don't need to see you fight Canelo because you're not on his level. The other guys that he fights, we already know they're not on his level. But you're not on his level either. But you're not going to take that paycheck to fight a Canelo. So until these guys start being impressive, I'm giving them what they deserve, man. He gets a B from me. If you fighting level opponents like this and you can't finish them or stop them, it's a B automatically. It can't be an A. It can't be an A. It's a B automatically. You had a B performance.
Damn.
You have to judge it by.
Well, first of all, I'm not even gonna put what News said. I'm not even gonna put Charlo's performance on the same grade as Andre, because at least Andre dominated his opponent. He just looked really crappy while doing it. Andre shut Sulecki out, whereas Adams got a good 3-4 rounds off of Charlo, and Charlo was getting hit with way too many flush overhand rights for my liking. Like, hit very clean. Like, didn't show much defense, and never mind the fact that he was loading up on shots. Like, and it was like he wasn't putting. Now I kind of get it because he did hurt his hand, but like it seemed like he was just loading up and just trying to hit him as hard as he could with the uppercut, and it wasn't working. And that's why I had posed the question: if maybe Charlo's knockout of J-Rock actually hurt him in the long run rather than helped him, because once he knocked out J-Rock, now he's going about fights like fighting almost like he's a one-punch knockout artist, and that ain't him. He's got to actually put his punches together, and he wasn't even like at least with he wasn't even working the jab or anything. He was just loading up on the right and just hitting him with the uppercuts as hard as he could, not really putting anything else like behind it, setting it up with anything. It was just uppercut. That was all, and it wasn't even doing anything.
I see it, P. When you said it initially, I was like, Wu-Tang Clan, what? But after revisiting it, Charlo had that kind of like perfect fight against J-Rock. I don't want to say perfect because he got tagged a little bit, but they even like went slow-mo in the opening, to promo the fight. And it was Charlo's best performance far and away. And it made people believe, like, oh, if he hits the one punch, like, you're out. And at 160, that's not even remotely the case against dudes who are, B-level opposition. Or in Adam's case, C-level.
So
Maul.
How would y'all see a potential Charlo and an Andrade fight going down?
Charlo missing his punches, Andrade darting in and out, throwing wild one-handed punches.
Both of them crying when it's a draw.
Yeah.
Both of them crying when it's a draw.
Yeah. Yeah, because one is just inaccurate with his offense lately. He doesn't use his jab to set up his offense. The other one is, does what he does. But
Pat can't say it, so I will. Andrade got that stuttering, like he's way too good at boxing for what matches up what comes out of his mouth thing to him. So Andrade got that like stupid skill. I don't know any other way to put it.
Shit, man, y'all. Let's keep it all middleweight, man. Y'all hearing about if Canelo does not fight Triple G is reports he would be interested in fighting Munguia, which actually would have been his substitute last year against Canelo after the clenbuterol thing happened, but the WBC said fuck no. But now here we are a year later where that has been brought up again. Speculated, rumored, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, they really want to sacrifice Munguia. First they want to, and then obviously the first time around is before anyone really knew what he was all about. And then of course after he destroyed fucking Saddam Ali, then it's like, oh shit, you should let this motherfucker fight Triple G. And now of course Munguia's had his little issues lately, especially this year with his fights, and all of a sudden, Munguia Triple G, wow, Triple G will probably kill him. It's funny how that whole thing is going back and forth.
Are you for that? Are you for it? Would you? How would you react to that if it's announced?
If it's it's not a fight I really want. I don't really want to see it, because Munguia will probably get slaughtered this time. Like it would legit get slaughtered, So it's just they just need to make this Triple G Canelo 3 fight like now, before motherfuckers go off and do all these crazy things. Canelo gets his head jabbed by Kovalev, and Triple G faces, destroys Munguia. They need to stop all the bullshit and just make the fight.
Out of the last 6 fights, out of the last 6 opponents that GGG's had, if he fights Jaime Munguia, and that's counting Saul Alvarez twice, of course. I'm not going to count Canelo, the franchise, multiple times. This would be his 3rd junior middleweight.
Yep, Brooke, Vanis,
and Jaime Munguia.
Brooke is a welterweight. You don't even done. They jumped up from welterweight. That don't even count.
And it's like, and then you throw in a Steve Rose. And then
I forgot about him already.
Exactly.
It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I understand the whole. I don't understand it, but I understand it. Like I said the last time, because for me, GGG is strictly on. I need my get back with Canelo. I'm not letting anybody come in between that. We got to run this, and he's not willing to fight anybody. If you're not a fighter that he can beat easily, he's not going to fight you, because he knows he's always number 1 in line for Canelo. Because at the end of the day, Charlo don't bring no money to the table. Like we gotta talk business, right? That's what these boxers want us to do. They do all this talk business a bit. Well, let's talk business because as a fan, I support your business, right? I'm your customer, right? And I'm not going to purchase Canelo versus Charlo. I'm not going to, and I'm talking in general. I'm not going to purchase Canelo versus Andrade. I'm going to purchase Canelo versus GGG for a third time. Why? Because I know that's going to give me possibly a classic fight. I haven't seen you guys in a classic fight at all.
Yeah.
Secondly, GGG is bigger than both of y'all individually. He brings more money to the table. So with that being the case, GGG is never going to jeopardize his standing. He don't need a belt. He doesn't need a belt to be the number one contender for Canelo because he still is GGG. And in both fights with Canelo, he didn't look bad because he barely lost. So with that being with all that with the name behind him, the credentials behind him, with that being the case, with the money behind him and that he brings to the table, with the fan base that he brings behind him, GGG is not fighting anybody. So on one hand, it's like I'm tired of these trash ass opponents. But then on the other hand, it's like, I mean, I can't expect a dude that's 37 to do anything else but try to get that bag one more time, especially against a dude he almost beat twice.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Go ahead, Smoke.
gonna I'm gonna say this. Triple G would have destroyed both dudes Andrade and Charlo fought. All that being said, his whole Canelo or nothing attitude, it's just what's it called, discouraging, because he could easily fight. If Canelo doesn't fight him, Andrade. You could easily fight Charlo and blah 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 other people, and kind of solidify his talent. And I kind of get what News is saying, that like, okay, he's 38 and still boxing, but
I knew that was coming.
yeah, but he's like, he's senior citizen, GU not, and you kind of just want to say like, oh, okay, dude, you're not going to go up to 168 and like beat the shit out of Billy Joe Saunders. Like, the money on your contract is guaranteed. So, and I'm not pocket watching. I'm just saying, like, if money is where you get your, your fucking motivation from, like, there's other cats who will rumble with you. But all that being said, I mean, we've seen over the past few weeks that, like, logistically, realistically, metaphysically, and I hate to say this, Triple G is like, it seems like the only dude at 160 who can come close to fucking with Canelo, and every single fight that he has against him, which has been two thus far, he gets a little bit less skilled, and Steve Rolls was punching him in the temple, and if Canelo did that, it'd be a different story. But outside of Canelo Kovalev or Canelo Callum Smith, Canelo Triple G3 is the best fight for boxing fans right now. And I hate to say that. I hate it.
Yeah, and he doesn't, he doesn't he doesn't appreciate the triple God. So for him to say that was huge.
And
Go ahead. News, go ahead and finish that, and go ahead and get into the Canelo versus the world while we in it. Because, like I said, it's middle night tonight.
I mean,
so
listen, man. Okay, so when it comes to the franchise, you know what I mean, and the fact that he runs the whole middleweight division, and he's a fight or two away from running the whole 168, and then like another fight at the running the whole 175. With the franchise running the whole game right now, these guys need to line up. You know what I mean? And you know how in school you have to line up typically typically it's always the teacher's favorite students always usually first because they need to lead the line. So Canelo's favorite whipping boy is GGG. So he leads the line. He's first in line, right? Second, though, you have Jacobs, you have Andrade, you have Charlo. Jacobs already tried and failed against the franchise. So then we got to go to Andrade and Charlo. They're saying that I don't understand why people are saying they're ducking it when first of all them two should fight, but not even that. If we don't even talk about them two fighting, let's talk about the fact that in order for you to don't bring up fighters that Canelo fought like a Liam because you're not going to take their paychecks to get the beating that they took. You're not gonna fight anybody like that. We can talk about how Jamal Charlo himself. We wouldn't want to see a Jamal Charlo versus Steve Rose, right? What if there was people out there randomly saying stuff like that though? We didn't want to see Jamal Charlo versus Brandon Adams.
Yo, we wouldn't even let him on the podcast. The fuck?
It sounds, you know what I mean? Like it sounds almost disrespectful, but the the gap between Jamal Charlo and Brandon Adams is smaller than the gap between Canelo and Jamal Charlo right now. And that's just what it is. And I'm just going strictly off of resumes. I'm not talking about in the ring because, of course, you have to get them in the ring to see that. But there's a huge gap between Canelo and Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo was supposed to be a knockout puncher, but he got that off his 154. And Hugo Centeno, I seen Hugo Centeno get knocked out by Erickson Lubin at 154.
Yo, News.
I don't believe he's a big puncher as they say he is at once, especially not at 160. So what? You can't outbox Canelo. So what are you bringing to the table? You're not bringing a fan base, because if you were building a fan base, if you were bringing a real fan base, you wouldn't have been practicing and you wouldn't have been fighting in the practice field of the Houston Texans.
News.
You're not.
Yo, real quick. So, just because you're making a really good point right now, what is the difference in terms of like gap and skill between Triple G and Charlo and Andrade and Charlo? In your
Andrade, I still believe Andrade's the most skilled of the bunch out of those three. However, at the end of the day, Andrade doesn't have the power either, and he definitely doesn't have the chin to take it. We talking about like one punch. We talking about how it takes one punch. No, when we talk about Loma and Kame, and the difference here is that Loma's skill level is way above Kame's, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Andrade's skill level is not that far above GGG's, and a power punch from GGG will put Andrade out for the count. We've seen him knocked down. We've seen him get knocked. I've seen him get wobbled in fights. Like he can't take those punches. He can't take those flush shots that Canelo takes. He doesn't roll his head with the punches like Canelo does. Like that's not his style. These guys are trying to get their way to the bag, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, you got to climb up that ladder. Y'all not trying to climb up that ladder yourselves. What happened to Jamal Charlo versus Daniel Jacobs? Where's Demetrius Andrade versus Daniel Jacobs? Why aren't they calling out that? Why don't y'all build yourself up? You're beating up C-level middleweights, and then you're calling out the A-level middleweights. It don't work that way. Like there's levels for a reason. You have to come up. We haven't seen them get to the B-level middleweight yet and win. I don't know.
Devil's advocate. Canelo fought Rocky Fielding.
Right.
Speak on
right
it.
at 168. He went up to get a belt. How much did Rocky Fielding get? How much did Rocky Fielding get for that fight though? Would Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade take the purse that Rocky Fielding took to fight Canelo?
A Charles Martin purse?
With you know what I mean? Like that's the thing too. They want the Canelo fight, but they're not willing. They bring up the fight, but they're not willing to take the purse. You want to take the purse? You want to get $5, $6? You want to get $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 million to fight Canelo? You're not going to take $500,000 to fight Canelo. You're not going to take a $2 million to fight Canelo. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo,
and
bro,
then
if
go ahead.
someone comes to me like, "Hey, Smoke, you got a Canelo fight," if you ain't talking about at least $10 million and like an $8 million house, like I don't even want to talk to you. And I don't even box like that.
And then they're on the wrong side of the
Yeah.
street too. They're on the wrong side of the street. Jamal Charlo was on PBC.
What do you mean by that?
He's on PBC. Canelo is on DAZN. Canelo's on DAZN. Jamal Charlo.
To the people that don't know, what does that mean?
That just means basically that they're on two different networks. Canelo has an exclusive deal with DAZN. So he fights all of his fights on an app. Jamal Charlo doesn't have an exclusive deal, but he's exclusively aligned with PBC. And they fight on Fox, they fight on Showtime. Jamal Charlo is the C side in this equation. Canelo is the A side.
Mm.
What are you going to do? Are you going to break out? You're not going to go over to the zone. So stop calling out Canelo and call out somebody that you can fight. Or start dominating these guys that you do fight. I'm not feeling this
Thank you.
Korobov. I'm not feeling this Brandon Adams. I'm not feeling your last two fights. I have to skip and go all the way back to J Rock. Well, J Rock got a belt now. Like, I got to go all the way back to, we got to go all the way back and use that 154 like 3 years ago to see when the last time Jamal Charlo looked like a beast.
Right.
God.
Come on, man. I'm not on it, man.
P, Pat, how y'all feel about all this Canelo versus the world and everybody wanting that? How y'all feel about all this, man?
Personally, it just fans me because Canelo is not necessarily like when you hear Canelo fights, not necessarily in the middleweight division. It's like, he's going to find Callum Smith. Oh, facing Kovalev, shit like that. That's the reason why. It's not like Canelo's like, hey, let me do what I need to do at 160 or whatever. It's just like those, other divisions that he's jumping around in for whatever reason. Granted, I have nothing against Canelo versus Callum Smith. Personally, that actually would be a good fight, especially if Canelo would have a whole lot of physical disadvantages in that fight. Now, the whole thing with Kovalev, I think, is just a waste of time. Like, let Kovalev do what he's doing at 175. But Kovalev has other fights at 175 that are more appealing. I'd rather see 175 him kind of to get into 175 and try to clean up that shit. Right now than seeing Canelo weight jump and then probably cripple him on a catch weight or whatever, because he's not letting Campbell. If he does that, he's gonna say Kovalev's not gonna fight no damn 175. It's gonna be like 170 or some bullshit. So it's just like Canelo just needs to. Canelo and Oscar need to stop. Need to focus on 160. You have the belt, or if you want to do 160, or at least do the 168 on your actual network. Stop throwing this Kovalev shit in the air. Just focusing on the divisions around you for the time being. You have a belt. You have belts now. People are gonna come after you. You're the man of the division. That's what happens. So that's basically my thoughts.
And I'm gonna say this too about the Rocky Fielding. People bring that up. Rocky Fielding was sandwiched in between GGG and Daniel Jacobs, not Brandon Adams and Matt Korobov, not Sulecki and whoever the Black Panther extra was that Demetrius Andrade fought last year,
or Steve Rose and Vanes Matarosa.
That's what I'm saying. So people got to get there when they go to slander the franchise. When you go to slander the franchise, you got to make sure that you have the order in line. The guy was coming off of 2 back-to-back fights against GGG, fought Rocky Fielding. Oh, he fought Rocky Fielding. Why can't he fight Jamal Charlo? Why don't Jamal Charlo fight at GGG? And I don't mean actually GGG, because again, GGG is not going to fight him. But fight the next best thing. Fight a Daniel Jacobs. Fight a Demetrius Andrade. Why don't you fight somebody around your level? Quit calling out just Canelo.
True. And P, let me ask you a 2-part question, man. One, how do you feel about this possible Triple G and Jaime Munguia? And also, why does it seem like Triple G, I don't want to say he get a pass, but why doesn't it seem like the media lean more on him to make a new fight as opposed to skipping to the front of the line to get the third Canelo fight immediately?
You were saying? That's how I feel. That's how I feel about the Munguia Golovkin fight. Just yawning. Like, I don't need to see that shit. We already saw fucking Munguia go life and death with fucking other people that aren't on Triple G's level. Went life and death with a fucking Japanese, a fake Inuit, not the real Inuit, a fake one. So we don't need to see that shit. So let's see him actually see against real middleweights. Why? I have no fucking idea, and it's kind of tiresome.
I guess he cut out. Oh, he muted
Sorry,
him.
I'm back. Sorry about that. Noise coming through. But that's why I've kind of gotten fed up with the middleweight division because this is gonna like the welterweight division is bad, but this is just as bad because we got multiple people from different sides of the street like arguing, coming to see who wants to fight this person. Oh, and then fucking Triple G is now skipping in front of the line, of course, and I've said I don't like that. But it seems like he gets a pass for it because everybody loves the Canelo fights that he had, so they don't mind seeing another one. So he kind of gets that benefit of we've already seen it, they've done well, people have liked it, there's still a demand for it, so he feels like I don't need to fight some of these other bums, or broke boys. So he's not dealing with these guys aren't good boys to him anymore. They're broke boys. I'm not dealing with you broke boys. Like he just wants the money. He wants the money makers. So I get it. But now that just means we're not going to see any of these guys fight because Triple G's not going to fight them because there's no incentive to. They don't bring anything to the table. Canelo's not going to fight them because not because he's scared or anything, but he's playing the role of the boss. He's calling his own shots, and if he picks you, he picks you. If not, tough shit. So this is going to be a never-ending cycle until some of them move out of 160. Until the middleweight division is kind of done. So, because right now there's still players. So, but I don't know if we're ever going to get to see these guys all fight.
But isn't it funny how it went on Triple G's come up? His issue was he felt that the top middleweights didn't want to fight him. But now you got Charlo available and you got Andrade available, and you pulling the same thing that you was criticizing them for on your come up.
It's all because it's. I'm not going to criticize him because I get it. I get why people criticize him. I get it. I knew this was going to happen because it's always how it happens. When you start off as the hunter, and then when you make your way to the top, you become the hunted. That's always how it is. Then you become. It's always been like that since the history of boxing. You come up, you fight your way up to the top, and then you're just more. You can't fight everybody, so you're more selective and choosy. So.
Yeah,
I get it.
So you only decide to fight Canelo and say there's no one else that fights in boxing. But yeah, Triple G's been a bum hunter.
It sounds like he just wants to cash out after this third fight with Canelo.
And so honestly, like completely unbiased, I totally get that. Triple G has the potential to make the most money to fight Canelo again, and he definitely thinks he can win. So I don't think he can. I think taking that fight a third time will put him down for the count, not by knockout or anything like that, but just by repeatedly getting punched in the face. But if I'm Triple G, honestly, I would be going for the same thing. The only thing that could be minorly different would be like a all UK or all Europe 168 title fight.
I'll put it like this, man. When it comes to the rest of the competition, the world versus Canelo, like I said, man, the reason I got GGG as number one in that order is because even if you take out the fight, and I've talked ad nauseum about how GGG's resume isn't the greatest to be talked about as the number one pound for pound. But even if you remove the Canelo fights and you compare GGG's resume to Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo, GGG still clearly has the better resume. He has Danny Jacobs on his resume. He also has a David Lemieux. They don't even have a David Lemieux on their resume. And that's what's crazy about it. Demetrius Andrade nor a Jamal Charlo has even a David Lemieux on their resume. People, I don't know. I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see it here. So hey,
maybe you're more favorable towards Lemieux than I am because I'm just like.
If the best, no disrespect, but if the best fighter you ever fought and beat was J-Rock, then we got to talk
We
because you're
got
not ready for
I
you're
mean,
not ready for a Canelo or
is
GGG fighter.
Lemieux better than a Trout? Because
The Trout that Jamal Charlo beat.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
David Lemieux that Jamal that GGG beat. I would say he was better than Austin Trout that Jamal Charlo beat. Just like the Gabe Rosado that GGG destroyed back in 2013 was the same Gabe Rosado who was giving that work to Sulecki in his last fight before giving Andrade 6 years later, and that's ridiculous to me.
Yo,
It's like
so the entire last phrase the news said the Sulecki that Rosado was giving work to was giving problems to insert fighter. If insert fighter didn't end up whooping that dude's ass, you can only, take so much away from that.
yeah, and don't forget even Trout. I seen him get that beating from Arizlandi Lara prior to him fighting Jamal Charlo, and he went on that streak of beating bums. You know how they always PBC fighters do. They go and beat 3 or 4 bums, and then all of a sudden they right back into the PBC into the Robert Guerrero spot. You know, the main event on PBC. That's what that's got to start calling that. That's the Robert Guerrero side.
And I saw Lemieux get fucking punched out early by a guy that fucking Golovkin punched out early. So I don't know. I don't fucking think highly of Lemieux either. So to me, Lemieux and Trout are on the same fucking level. I don't know. When you're that, like, when we're like going that far of like the margins of like who these guys beat. Oh, this person doesn't have this person on their resume, but they have this person, and then we argue
how you
about
beat them too matters.
Yeah.
Remember, David Lemieux got destroyed by GGG. Did Jamal Charlo, the version of Austin Trout that he fought, would we say that Jamal Charlo destroyed Austin Trout?
No. And
that's what I'm saying is levels. GGG destroys those. That's my whole point. It was like a whole about Terrence Crawford. It's even in basket. I can even use it in the sport because I'm waiting to see if my Lakers get Kawhi Leonard, man. Listen, if I'm playing you and you ain't got no defense, and I'm the number 1 team in the league, and you ain't making the playoffs, I should put up 50 on you because I'm a superstar player. If I go out there and I struggle and I go 9 of 25 from the field and get 24 points, and I keep talking about I'm the best player in the league against a bum team, you're not going to say that. GGG was putting up 50 against these guys every night. This guy just had a competitive fight with Brandon Adams, and that's just where I'm gonna leave that at.
What'd you say?
This guy just had GGG when he fights that level of opposition. When he fights a David Lemieux. He puts up 50 versus David Lemieux. He puts up 50 points versus David Lemieux. Jamal Charlo doesn't dominate opponents. Demetrius Andrade doesn't dominate David Lemieux level opponents.
Yo, DJ News, on a scale of 1 to 10, what was Charlo's performance? And drop the bombs on him.
Versus who? Versus who? Versus Adams? I told you I can only give it a B. Yeah, this is Brandon Adams from Contender fame. This isn't a type of fighter. If we would have seen him versus GGG, we would have called that a cherry pick fight. GGG would have knocked him out in under 6.
News, is he famous for fighting other dudes in his weight class on HBO, ESPN, or Showtime, or even FX?
Man, I can't even. I didn't even watch the Contender. I haven't watched the Contender since Sergio Mora was on there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the last time it was Sergio. Shout out to Sergio Mora. That boy came from reality TV and became a champion.
Shout out to him.
Technically, he was the second one to actually become champion.
Yeah.
Who was the first?
Wasn't Ishe Smith on there? Wasn't Ishe Smith on there too?
Yeah, Ishe Smith.
K9.
And Saki Okika. Yeah, K9.
Shout out to the GOAT season of the Contender.
And of course, Steve Forbes. He was the only one who was actually a champion before they actually went into
Steve
Was
Forbes.
Steve
Yeah,
Forbes the dude that Triple G knocked out, or like a 147 fighter from like 10 years ago? I forget.
Yeah, Steve Forbes never fought Triple G. They should. No, that never.
I was gonna say, isn't Steve Forbes claim to fame? Like, doesn't Steve Forbes the one that everybody just makes a joke of? Gave Mayweather the work in sparring, or some no, there was some
Oh,
Forbes
okay. Yeah,
that
he
gave
was.
Mayweather the work in sparring. Yes, I think it was Steve Forbes.
So he is like a 140 to 154 scrub fighter. My bad. I
No, he wasn't a
apologize
scrub.
for
He
wasn't
was
a
like
No, he
he
wasn't a
wasn't a
scrub.
scrub. He was good. He was good. You know, Steve Forbes. Steve Forbes. I say he was like a. I say like a. I want to say maybe a C plus fighter. Like he took a lot of L's at the end of his career.
Yeah, because
Tons of them.
he moved up too high. That's the
Right.
problem.
Yeah, but he was skilled though.
Yeah, he won about 130, and then he started moving up a little bit.
Could Prime Kirkland versus Steve Forbes.
Shit,
154.
No, he was way too big.
That's way too big. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Huh?
he was way too big. James Kirkland was 154. Steve Forbes was down at 130, 135.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, like
All
that.
right.
And then he moved up at the end.
All
But
right.
yeah, we can get ready to wrap it up though, because at the end of the day, man, the franchise runs the world at middleweight. And it is what it is, man. These guys got to get their, they got to get their performances together, man. Now, like they can't sit here and talk to us as if we don't know what we're watching. Like I really feel that a lot of athletes get to the point where they feel like they know more, but they forget that a lot of fans, a lot of people they talk to, have been watching boxing before they were born. Yes, you participate in it, but that has nothing to do with other people's eyes. If that's the case, then only professional boxers should be calling fights. Only professional boxers should judge fights. Only professional boxers should manage fighters. Why don't y'all have other boxers in y'all circles? Because y'all don't know the business. Have you ever heard another boxer actually having their manager being another boxer before? Never. So I don't need to listen to these guys tell me about business when they just keep making the same business mistakes over and over again. And by that, that's going out there and you having them little passive aggressive fights and not putting your foot down and getting these guys up out of here, or making it entertaining for us to come back and want to spend our hard-earned dollar that we worked for during the week to come and see you on Saturday night. And that's that.
Hey, it's Smoke from at Free Smoke Boxing, and as always, spread love, spread peace, spread positivity, and get that money. But when it comes to boxing, stay in your lane, challenge yourself. Don't give in to apathy when you could put your foot on the gas. Shout out to Andrade. Get your money. What up?
Yo, what up, yo? It's Pat Scorpion, the New England representative, and don't really have any special, enlightened messages or uplifting messages for the hearing public tonight. You know what I'm saying? Other than just keep loving Pat Scorpion, because Pat Scorpion keeps loving y'all, and yeah, that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Love, peace, and soul.
What up, y'all? It's your boy P. You already know where you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bodega Boxing. And let's just hope that we get some great fights coming up with the second half of the year, because July marks the middle of the year. So I'm hoping for some great fights, for the end of the year. You already know which fight I'm hyped up for in July, but that's another story. So yeah, let's get it. Let's hope for an exciting second half of the year, and go Brooklyn.
Go Brooklyn. Go ahead, Maul. Tell them where to find you.
This motherfucker pass out.
Maul laid out on the back deck. All right, y'all. I guess I'll take us home. You can follow Maul. He the golden voice. You can follow him at Bruising Boxing whenever he wakes up out of his nap.
Oh shit! No, I'm here. I had it on mute. My bad. I was on mute. I was on mute. Damn, I've been talking to y'all for 5 minutes on mute, man. What the fuck?
Yo.
I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up and all that. I'm like, damn, they ain't even respecting my damn call. Like, damn, I'm gonna try to punch in. The
Yo,
fuck?
$18 says Maul is high as a motherfucker.
No, hell nah, nah, man.
$18, Maul.
Nah, no smoking, nah, man. Just beer, man. I was like, what the fuck? They just not even respecting my call? Like,
Appreciate it,
damn.
dog.
I was getting a little tight over here, dog.
Go ahead, tell the people where they can find you, and I'm gonna go
Yeah,
after.
yeah, no doubt, man. Like I said, on Twitter, you can follow me at Bruise, Boxing Bruise, and on Instagram, it'll be on the Bruise with a Z underscore and underscore boxing. Again, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Possibly our next cast this week, we probably might have a little mid-season award show. We don't know, we'll see. Just tune in, like, subscribe, follow us everywhere, like it, retweet it, share it, tell a friend to tell a friend, man.
Yes, sir. It's your boy News. About to wrap it up. Thank y'all for tuning in again. It's Fade Hour episode 62. I'd like to thank my fellas for coming through, having a drink with me, having a smoke with me. Make sure y'all follow again. Bodega Boxing, Free Smoke Boxing, Bruising Boxing,
Oh,
Ring Gang Radio, Ringside Rave. This your boy News. You can follow me at RSR_news. You can catch my show, Breaking News. I'm going to put that out there for y'all. Also, make sure y'all tune in and hit the subscribe and the notifications on the Fade Hour, because honestly, the longer we go, only the more faded we're going to get. And I'd like y'all to be along
Hey.
for the journey with us. You know what I mean? When y'all step through, if you made it this late into the show, if you actually made it this late in the show, make sure you have your drinks on deck next time. Because when
yeah.
we come on, we already have our drinks. And I'm not going to
Make
lie to you.
sure
When
your drink is empty.
I start the Fade Hour at 7 o'clock, I'm not going to lie to y'all. So if
Oh,
y'all come in here with an empty cup, or you ain't got nothing to
I'll,
smoke on the chill with, then I don't know what to tell you. Y'all not gonna get the full effect of the Fade Hour. It's called the Fade Hour for a reason. So make sure you got at least an hour to block the side, and you can be faded. Catch us, like Maul said, later this week with the mid-year recap. And with that said, this your boy News, representing Ringside Rave all day. I know what it is with me, man. We out.
we
out.
out. One.